Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon. Joining me today, it is Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. What's going on today, Chuck?
William, I gotta say, I'm impressed with the matching hat and T-shirt.
Yeah, well,
It's a
you
good,
gotta,
good fit.
you gotta put it all together.
Yeah.
I'm always like right now. Okay, I have several different orange hats, and if the Phillies were on a bad stretch, it would have been one of my Philly A's hats or something.
Okay.
But it was like, oh well, they won the last game, and now they're at the break. They're in first place. We'll go with a Phil's hat today. But we are here to talk about those Philadelphia Flyers. First, we have a couple things to tell you about. It is rank week here at PHLY. Every day at 7 p.m., there will be a different beat releasing their top 10 what-ifs in franchise history list. Ours will debut on Thursday, so make sure you make a note. On Thursday, the show will not be at noon. It will be at 7 p.m.
It's a special 7 p.m. show. So for all of our viewers, our listeners, I guess viewers, because listeners listen whenever, but all of our viewers who are disappointed that they can't watch the show live because some people have bosses that actually care if they're watching a YouTube video in the middle of the workday. Well, 7 p.m., hopefully you will be done work by then, I hope, and you can watch it live.
I think it was me and Kelly, and you weren't here. We had a mailbag a week or two ago, and a guy was saying, or maybe it was a super chat, saying he was taking PTO, so he was able to watch the show live for the first time. So we're like, no, be a time thief. Watch it work. Not everyone's able to do that, though.
Unfortunately.
So make sure you mark that calendar. 7 p.m. on Thursday, special time for our show. And each day this week, there'll be a different one. There's going to be a panel show that debuts as well, where we all kind of break down the full top 10 list for the whole city. So that'll be a ton of fun. I'll be a part of that. Make sure you check it all out right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page and the podcasts as well. Hit the like button. 38 likes. That's decent. I want to see a few more, though. We got to always
get to 100.
Always got to get to 200 by the end of the show. Bare minimum, or else I don't get to eat. We have new merch coming soon. It's not up on the store yet, so you can see a couple of the new designs. There's a whole bunch of Spectrum-related designs that I love. I picked the orange. There's a Brenna has it in black, I believe we can see. There's a blue. There's all sorts of awesome ones. Charlie went with the
old school Sixers style. Is it really old school?
I love how it's old school
It's now the 2000s, 90s, and 2000s.
It is.
But I do think it's a cool look, and going with the PHLY look with Iverson era Sixers logo.
While I am anti-Sixers at this point in my life, the old jersey is very cool looking now.
It's a cool jersey.
Like forever, I loved the blue with the red, the Dr. J era, like Phila. And now it's like, well, that's old school now.
Right.
Like this is now, and I'm a big fan.
I'm glad that one team in Philly was able to get the black jerseys correct in the late 90s, early 2000s.
For some reason, you hate this jersey that everybody loves.
Despise them.
There's somebody who's been tweeting us every day. I think he's on day 21 of tweeting a different picture of a Flyer in the old black jerseys until they bring them back. There's I wonder if it was inspired by this other guy I follow. He's tweeting the same picture of Jaws the ride until it's back at Universal. He does that every day. I wonder if he was inspired by that.
A psychotic place.
He's on day like 1,000. I don't think it's happening. It is at Universal Japan, but not in Florida, I don't think. They took it out. Always bummed me out because I was too scared to ride it as a kid, and now I want to ride it, and it's gone. I was terrified of Jaws as a child.
I mean,
saw that way too young.
When I was a kid, I was scared.
Saw it way too young. All right, the new merch will be available at some point. It's not up on the site yet, but it will be, and it's pretty cool.
Just
check
keep
it out.
an eye out.
All right, before we get into the main topic of today's show, Charlie, where we're going to take a look at the top 6 forwards and talk about our expectations, review their season, what we expect out of them this coming season, all that. We have the big deal brought to you by Cherry Hill Kia. That's right. Kia of Cherry Hill brings you the big deal. And we have a couple of minor league announcements, not necessarily pertaining to the big club, but it is the big deal nevertheless.
I mean, big deal relative to
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's July 14th in the NHL.
It's a big deal relative to a day where nothing happens.
First, I guess we'll start with the Phantoms have finally officially named their head coach.
They did.
This was reported by Kevin Kurz, I don't know, a month or so ago.
Yeah, he got it about a month ago.
Everyone's
and it was,
it,
I think Jackie reported. I didn't report it, but it was just so glaringly obvious. Generally speaking, the AHL coach runs development camp, but while they did share the duties, it was pretty obvious that John Snowden was the one who was running the majority of the drills. He has a very distinctive, kind of high-pitched voice. It was interesting. So you could very easily tell when he was the one shouting out, barking out orders. It seemed like a foregone conclusion that it was going to be John Snowden, and today it was officially announced that it is indeed John Snowden, who was a Phantoms assistant coach, and now he is the head coach.
Do you think they just forgot to announce it? Like, it's funny that they had him running development camp, and it's like, you haven't officially been named to the position yet, even though it was widely reported. But now we have it. So it's John Snowden.
If I had to guess, and this is my guess, I think they knew for weeks that Snowden got the job. They hadn't yet made final decisions on the assistants, and they wanted to announce everything at once. That's what I think happened.
That's kind of what made sense, because we saw like Rick Tocchet get announced, and it was like, okay, one assistant, and now, all right, now we have the full staff. This was, okay, it's Snowden, and then Nick Schultz and Terrence Wallen will be his assistants in Lehigh Valley. They announced it all at the same time. Nick Schultz has been with the organization in different capacities.
He was the development coach.
Head of development and stuff like that.
He's basically taking over for Jason Smith, who appears is not going to be part of the coaching staff moving forward. But Jason Smith was functionally the defense coach there. Nick Schultz, also a former NHL defenseman, now will be coaching defense and all that stuff down up in Allentown.
And we also have a little bit of goalie news. The Phantoms have signed UFA goalie Yaniv Peretz, I believe is how you pronounce his name.
My former boss, Travis Hughes, would be, I'm assuming he's not dead. He is very happy that they signed him. He's a Quinnipiac guy.
Quinnipiac alum. He put up really good numbers, did this goaltender at Quinnipiac. He won the national championship in 2023. He's 25. Carolina just let him go from their organization. He put up really good numbers in the ECHL last year, a .921 save percentage. Hasn't gone so well for him in the AHL. He's played almost 21 minutes of NHL hockey for Carolina over the last 2 seasons. He stopped 7 of 8. So maybe there's something there with him, but this is just an AHL contract for Yaniv Peretz, and we'll see where it goes. You and I were talking a little off air earlier. Like, okay, maybe this is Alexei Kolosov insurance, because I mean, I don't expect him to show up.
I don't think it's insurance. I think it's just relating to the reality of the situation that I don't think anyone expects Alexei Kolosov to spend the entire season in the AHL.
Yeah.
And given the way the depth chart is shaping up, that's where he would have to be if he wants to remain part of the Flyer, the active portion of the Flyers organization. I don't think they yet know how the Kolosov situation is going to resolve itself. A lot of that depends on whether he shows up for camp or not. He obviously
do not expect.
He did not show up for camp last year until later. Maybe that happens again. Maybe he doesn't show up at all. There's a lot of ways it could go, but I don't think the Flyers are not expecting him to be in their North American mix this season. So this guy is probably their primary ECHL goalie, who will also see some time in the AHL when players like Bjarnason and likely Fedotov invariably get banged up, because goalies always get hurt.
And I honestly thought, like, the Kolosov, that's one side of this. Like, I just don't expect him to be part of this organization, whether actively or passively. I assume he'll be traded his rights somewhere at some point or whatever. He just never comes back.
And he's on an AHL only deal. So if he was even going to get into the NHL, they'd have to sign him to an NHL contract.
We talked about that last week. But I do think it's kind of interesting. Listen, you need goalie depth. Like, Parker Gahagan left, Cal Peterson left. So I don't really know what they have after Fedotov.
People are saying Cal Peterson left as being very charitable. He was ushered out the door.
His contract expired, and he is no longer here. He did sign somewhere, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he ended up with another team.
But, like, after, Bjarnason turning pro, we expect him to play in the AHL. I expect Ivan Fedotov to be waived and be a part of the Phantoms. But as we have seen with Russian goaltenders, they're not all that high on playing in the AHL. I wonder if, and listen, they just need goalie depth beyond those two. Even if Fedotov plays the whole year with the Phantoms, they're probably going to need more than two guys, especially one being a rookie. But I do kind of look at this as like he has a little bit of upside. He did win a national championship. He put up really good numbers in the ECHL. He got a call up from Carolina. I think that had more to do with
Injuries.
they ran out of goalies at some point. But he did get a call up. Maybe there's a little something there with this guy. And the future is uncertain, not only for Kolosov, but Fedotov in my mind. Like,
yes,
Russians don't like to play in the AHL. That is very obvious.
It's fair. They also like to get paid, so that he might, his desire to make $3+ million next year may overshadow the fact that he'd rather not be playing in the AHL. We'll see how it plays out. But I do agree with you that maybe there is, if anything, it may factor into Peretz's thinking, where he's like, okay, yeah, I excelled in the ECHL last year, and with this team, maybe there's a path. Like, look, I hope that Carson Bjarnason plays well in the AHL, but it has happened in the past where guys, when they turn pro, end up having goalies in particular, end up having to go down to the ECHL for a little bit to find their footing. So he's like, well, maybe Bjarnason might have to get sent down if he's not playing that well. And maybe Fedotov won't even show up or might leave if he doesn't make the NHL team, which seems a near certainty given the fact they just signed Dan Vladar and they really like Sam Ersson. So maybe Brett sees that as a potential way to get into an AHL role. He just saw Parker Gahagen, kind of, wriggle his way into being the primary goalie, and he was not always guaranteed a role like that. So maybe it's an option for them. And hey, we don't know how Fedotov is going to play out. Maybe Fedotov will go home.
And just in terms of Bjarnason, like I remember I was a Phantom season ticket holder in 97, 98. Brian Boucher turns pro. It's him and Neil Little, and I think they're expecting their first round pick to kind of supplant Neil Little, who's the veteran, and they ended up rolling with Little through the playoffs, and for a majority of the season, Bush only put up an 888 his rookie year, and like that's not very good. The next year, 9/11 gets the call up. It's after that, story's written. Brian Boucher, pretty damn good goalie for a while, but a rookie in his first year pro, you just don't know what to expect.
Well, I'm even talking, and this is a guy who came up, I think, in a super chat last week, Sebastian Casa, of like, well, former first round pick, maybe he's blocked now in Detroit. Sebastian Casa, in his first year in the pro game, ended up playing 46 games in the ECHL, and this is a guy who was taken 15th. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that if Bjarnason struggles out of the gate, they might be like, well, we have a third league that you could develop in if that's easier for you. And then you'll slowly move up the ladder when you make the changes we want you to make. It's not, I wouldn't say I'm expecting it, but I don't think it should be ruled out entirely because it does happen sometimes, even with blue chip goalie prospects.
Yeah, it's always, like we've said, yes, it is a developmental league, and Bjarnason is a guy that you're going to want to bring along, but there is a need to be pretty good in the AHL because the Phantoms want to make money. They are a independent organization that would prefer to make money and not lose it.
Take long playoff runs. And sell out their building.
They'd like to make the playoffs and have that revenue. And it's really hard to evaluate everybody else, as we've seen at the NHL level, if your goaltending isn't up to snuff, and if they end up going with a veteran or who the hell knows? Like, it's Fedotov, an unknown, Bjarnason, an unknown, and this new guy, they might juggle all three all year. Who knows? So there's just a lot of options, but that is the big deal presented by Kia of Cherry Hill. Just another league note here. We found out that the NHL will release its full schedule on Wednesday at 1 p.m. So just as we are wrapping up on Wednesday, we will get the NHL full schedule release. We do know that the league's season will open Tuesday, October 7th. There'll be a triple header on ESPN, 5 p.m. Blackhawks at Panthers. We're going to get the banner unveiling for the Panthers.
Whatever.
Yeah. Cool. At 8, we're going to get Pittsburgh and the Rangers in Madison Square Garden because I guess even though Pittsburgh's terrible and so are the Rangers, we got to get
big market teams.
Crosby in the big market.
Yep.
And then at 10:30, a pretty good one, Colorado and LA at crypto.com, aka Staples. So
Still a
it'll
Staples
just
Center to me.
always be Staples. I'm sorry.
Still a Staples
I
Center
will
to me.
not call something crypto.com. That's ridiculous.
Agreed.
But so that's Tuesday, October 7th. You assume the Flyers will start within a day or two
I
of
cannot
that.
wait, and I hope you note the sarcasm here. I can't wait for Wednesday when we're about to finish out the show, and then we get blasted with 10 super chats about what do you think about Game 40?
I don't.
I don't.
No, what's going to be interesting, because during the draft, this is just one thing about the schedule. During the draft party, we were advertising for Philly sports trips, perhaps a trip out west to play a team that Disney used to own and maybe Zegras used to play for and things like that. We can't tell you because, again, we don't know the schedule yet, so we don't know all the details. Now, every team goes everywhere, so eventually that will come up, but typically, that game is the Disney on Ice trip. But we've seen the Flyers start the season out. Like, what if that's game one?
Yeah.
Like, what if the NHL, and we're preparing for a trip for game one of the season opener? And because, listen, it's kind of a high-ish profile game. Now, in Philly, it's a little different because, we're the ones who are mad. But, Zegras going back to play the Ducks, that could very well be in the first week of the season. So we'll see.
I really hope not.
They do tend to open on the
I just
road.
really hope because I have wedding obligations, not my own, but I have wedding obligations at the beginning of the year, and I don't know if I would be able to go to an opening trip if I already have an obligation of a wedding.
Yeah.
So
sorry, honey, we can't get married. Just Flyers Ducks on October 10th.
Wedding.
I know, Charlie. That's just would be funny though. So it's October 10th, Flyers Ducks. We can't get married. That would be my anniversary. Huh. Interesting.
Heyo.
All right. All right. Before we get into the crux of today's show, let's take our first commercial break right now. All right, we got to lead it off with our friends at Bet365 because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. They've got over 90 million users worldwide. They live stream almost 800,000 events each year, one of the pioneers in live betting. And they have those early payouts. Not only do they have them across the NBA and NHL, but you can get those early payouts for Major League Baseball as well. That's right. With the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up 5 runs with an instant payout. You get it on moneyline straight bets as well as parlay selections, parlay picks being marked as winners. It's pretty awesome deal. You go up 5 and boom, you've won, whether it's in a parlay or a straight moneyline bet. So make sure you sign up for Bet365 because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And we still have that breaking news offer from our friends at Bet365, where new customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, whether you win or lose. That's right. All you got to do is sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, whether your initial bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone who knows a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Charlie, I walked into my garage yesterday, and it was a sauna in there.
Yeah, this Philly heat, especially now, it's no joke.
This humidity is here. So what I ended up doing, I got 20 bags of ice. I went into my backyard, filled a baby pool with them. Nice little inflatable I have back there. Did a little cold plunge.
Why didn't you just turn on your air conditioner?
I'm trying to be energy efficient. I hear the cold plunges are good for you. You seem like a cold plunge kind of guy. And I'm trying to save a little bit of cash as well.
Okay, well, instead of filling up a baby pool, and I don't believe you have any children, William, but instead of filling up a baby pool that you don't yet need, you could just check out Pico's energy-saving rebates. They've got deals on Energy Star cooling equipment that actually work and cut your bills.
So no more ice?
It's the summer. Flyers aren't playing. They've already melted all the ice in the rink.
Yeah, that seems like what's up. I'm going to have to check this out. It seems like the way to go, Charlie. Thank you.
So just head to pico.com/ways to save. They've got tips for everything. Heating, cooling, lighting, you name it.
Welcome back. That was really funny. I looked up at the camera as Bryn is counting down, and saw myself looking down. I was like, "What is there a delay?" And I was like, "No, that's the Pico guide." Anyway,
Sure is.
I mean, I don't think it's a big shock that that's pre-recorded. We're wearing different clothes. Like, I don't think I'm like breaking kayfabe here. Anyway, all right, let's get to the main topic of today's program, Charlie. You know, last week we were talking, okay, how are we going to bridge the gap from like end of season content and then off season stuff into when we start the fun next week and we have, you know, rank week and everything going on. This is kind of that middle section here. And I thought, you know, let's look at position groups and our expectations for them, what they did last year, what we expect out of them into next season. And I want to talk about the top 6 forwards because I think it's a really interesting group of, like, there's just a weird dynamic of veterans and young guys and like our varied expectations for each. And I want to start with Travis Konecny. TK signed his big contract extension last off season, and it kicks in this year. So we will see year 1 of 8 out of Travis Konecny coming up. And he had on paper a decent season. You look at he's one of very few guys who've put up 50 assists in a year, like since the lockout for the Flyers. 52 assists last season, 76 points, a career high.
It was just the lack of goals,
But that goal
especially
scoring
in the second half.
That goal scoring in the second half was non-existent. I think 2 goals in the final 41 games of the year. And when you're at, you know, 21 or 22 goals at the halfway point and you're going, oh, dude's going to put up 40, 35, no problem. And what a season. And he ends with 24.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't good.
He ends with 24. Like, that's rough. That is a rough second half of the year. I think he got to goal 21 in game 41 and plays all 82. We theorized throughout the year that perhaps he was dealing with something, but as soon as the year ends, he goes and plays in the World Championships. So it couldn't have been too bad.
Yeah.
Nothing that required
he wants to be an Olympian.
Yeah,
so
like,
he was going.
He was going. Nothing that required a major procedure. We haven't heard anything about that either. So whether he was banged up or not, I don't know if we can use the injury excuse for him. First, TK, how do you categorize the year he just had? And then we'll get into expectations.
I think it was a good year. I think you are maybe being a bit too hard on it because of you had that anchoring bias where it's like, well, he's going to have a 40-goal year. And then when he didn't have it, it's like, well, was it really that good? Like, I don't know. He was a near point per game guy. He had 76 points in 82 games. That is, objectively speaking, a quite good season. So yeah. I think you might be being a little bit too hard on him because you have it stuck in your head about that he didn't score as many goals as I wanted him to.
He didn't. And I just looked the final 41 games of the year, 4 goals, 27 assists. That's 31 points in 41 games. It's fine. And for the season that they had and the help that he had around him, I mean, the offense for a lot of the year was kind of, Owen Tippett did very little. Tyson Foerster broke out in the second half, but his first half.
It wasn't even really the second. It was like
the final 9 games.
It was after Tortorella got
Yeah, he was like on, and Foerster was on an okay pace, but kind of a sophomore slump. And then you look at the end of the year, 25 goals, nice season. It's like, yes, 7 of them were in the last 9 games or whatever it was. Like, it's a little different, but the offense, for the most part, was kind of just TK and Michkov a lot of the year. And he still ends up, like you said, nearly a point a game. But you need TK to score. And maybe it's just not the type of player he is. Like, he scores on the rush. I don't know if he's a guy you build your power play around. But he is right at this very moment. Now, game 1, whenever that is, after October 7th, I assume, that might change. Matvei Michkov might be the Flyers' best offensive player as soon as game 1. But like, as of this moment, when the season ended, it's still TK.
Yeah.
50 assists is a huge number. Not many guys have done that for this team post-lockout. It's impressive, but I just feel like you need 30-plus goals out of TK if this team's going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, I disagree with you. I think TK is a very good offensive player, and it doesn't kill me if he doesn't hit 30 goals. Now, he needs to be around point per game. I think, for the Flyers to be a good team. And he was. He finished last season with 76 points in 82 games. He's a very good playmaker. He is a good passer. He's always been a very good playmaker, a very good passer. And if one year he leans heavier on the assists than the goals, that doesn't bother me. But I've never been this is another one of those disconnects between me and you, where you're like, well, if you're not a defensive defenseman, you better score points if you're a defenseman. And I'm like, I don't really care as long as you're driving play. And for me, it's the same thing here, where it's like, if you got 80 points, I really don't care whether you got it 40-40 or whether you got it 25-55. I don't care. You got 80 points.
I'm just looking at, like, 4 goals in the second half of the season is not enough.
It's not good enough.
Like, that's not enough.
No, it's not good.
And that's really the issue. Like, and that's kind of what led me to the idea of, like, maybe he wore down, maybe he got injured. Like, we did see him in that game where he scored that 20th goal. I think it was against the Leafs, game 41. Like, he went into the boards hard. I think he, like, hurt it. It looked like he hurt his arm in some way. And that kind of is what led me down the path of maybe something's the matter with him. But you were saying, like, early in the season, it was, yeah, we want to talk to TK. And they're like, yeah, give it a minute. He's getting treatment.
Yeah.
And
from the start of the year.
From the very beginning of the year. And listen, he's a guy that they lean on heavily. I do think there's a little bit of variance just like in the goal scoring. Last year, 33 goals, 6 of them shorthanded.
Yeah.
This past season, 24, only 1 shorty.
Yeah.
All right. 5 more shorthanded goals gets him to 29, then what's the difference? Like, okay, 29, 30.
But it was also always unlikely he was going to score that many shorthanded goals.
6 is a ton of shorthanded goals.
Yeah.
Even guys who have a large sample size of lots of shorties in a season every year, they have a year with like 1 or 2, and then it's like, oh, and then they scored 6, and then they scored 7, and then 5, and then 1, 2, oh, and then 9. The next, like, that happens. There's going to be, the goalie makes some saves. You just don't get as many opportunities. Your PK isn't as good. And that happened this year when your goalie is allowing way more goals than he did the year before. You're going to have fewer opportunities to score shorthanded because they're just capitalizing right away. And I do think that happened a bit. So I was a little disappointed in TK's season. That said, like 76 points. What was his previous career high? 68? Like, that is a victory. If he's able to take this level of playmaking and add it to the goal scoring, now that is a like line 1 caliber player beyond just, 76. Like, that's a guy you can count on to be a star for you for the term of this contract. And they need him to be, especially while we're waiting for the rest of this offense to develop.
Yeah, well, hopefully Michkov, and we'll get to him in a few minutes, is ready to take that leap from a really good rookie to being a really, really good player in the sense of being one of the better offensive weapons in the entire league rather than just being one of the best rookies. That's the hope. But until he does, Travis Konecny is the Flyers' most reliable offensive weapon. Now, again, it could happen as soon as this year that Matvei Michkov surpasses him. I even would say I'm probably expecting it, but it hasn't happened yet. We're projecting with Michkov. Yeah. Travis Konecny over the last 3 seasons, 61 points in 60 games, over point per game, 68 points in 76 games, a little bit under, 76 points in 82 games, also a little bit under, but he can be expected to be in that, I think, assuming full health, that 70-plus point range. And you're hoping, hey, maybe if they get a power play that's good, and you know, maybe he spends an entire year with Matvei Michkov rather than on different lines for a lot of the year, maybe he bumps that up to 80, 85 points.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a jump, just because I think he's not probably a 50 assist guy, but I think he's a lot closer to a 30 goal and 25 goal guy. So like, I'm expecting it to just kind of even out a little bit this coming season. And listen, if Michkov makes a jump, like, you got to believe that helps the power play. And if that's the case, everyone's just going to have more points. That's the point totals here. I think he had 17 power play points last year, did TK, and
which
I
think was
like a decent number.
It was good for this team.
Yeah,
very good.
That is a hell of a number for this team. I can't believe they scored 17 power play goals for him to record that many points on, quite honestly.
But again, the big difference between, like, one of the reasons why save percentages are down and why goals are up in the league overall is because the top power plays now operate at 30%.
Yeah.
So while 17 points might have been perfectly fine power play production 10 years ago, now if you're not well clear of 20% as a team, you are one of the worst power plays in the league because power plays overall have just gotten better.
Yeah, like I remember
The Flyers. We haven't seen it because the Flyers have gotten worse, but
Yeah.
most teams have gotten better. The league has gotten better at the power play.
I remember when 20% was good.
Yeah.
And now 20% is bare minimum.
Yeah, it's like well, you better be at least at 20%.
Yeah, like below 20 is like that's the Mendoza line.
Yeah.
Like what are we doing here? You're not 1 for 5. Like this isn't a serious power play.
Yeah.
And the Flyers have been well below 20% the last few years. So that'll just give everyone a boost if it can be some level of competent, as we have been talking about for years now. It hasn't come to be, but perhaps just something as simple as Matvei Michkov and Trevor Zegras can bump that up. And you got to assume Travis Konecny would be on that unit too. That bumps up his production. Suddenly, everyone's numbers look more normal.
It would shock me if Konecny isn't on power play 1, whatever you want to call it, but I will consider power play 1 to be whatever power play Matvei Michkov is on, and likely now Trevor Zegras as well, because like, why would you trade for Trevor Zegras and not see if they can make magic on the power play?
Even if they're not together at 5-on-5, you got to believe you put those two together in some way on the power play just to see what that sort of puck skill can do.
Yeah.
All right. That's TK. I am expecting him to break 30 again. Like I think
it's reasonable to expect.
I think of him now as a 30-goal scorer who underperformed in that department last year a lot because, like, shorthanded variance and I don't know what the hell happened. Like, he's going to score more than 4 goals in the final 41 games of the year. That's just going to happen.
Yeah, but he also probably was a little fortunate in the first half of the year.
Yes.
So it balances itself out.
He was shooting like 20% in the first half.
But I do agree with you that I would probably consider him to be a true talent 30-goal scorer.
I think that's more who he is, and he came in a little under that last year.
Yeah.
This next one's... I have no idea what to expect from Sean Couturier.
I am optimistic.
I am optimistic about his overall level of play. I think he can be a good middle six center who wins you faceoffs and provides a steadying force in the middle of this lineup. In terms of offensive production, I have no freaking idea. And that has a lot to do with I have no idea where to expect him to be in the lineup. Like, if he is the primary center between Michkov and TK again, and we're expecting a jump from Michkov, and we're expecting TK to put up close to point-a-game numbers as he has, why wouldn't Sean Couturier put up similar or better numbers than he did this past season? But, like, you bring in Zegras, you bring in Dvorak, they like Cates. Like, I have no idea where to expect him, like, who to expect him to play with, and like what his role is based on his line mates. Like, if he's out there with Foerster and Brink, that's different than TK and Michkov.
I guess that's fair. I'm optimistic about Couturier for a few reasons. Number one, Torts is gone. So that's the big one.
That's fair.
The big one is Torts is gone, and Torts, for whatever reason, just decided that he didn't like Sean Couturier, so he wasn't putting Couturier in the most conducive situations to rack up points.
Might just be as simple as that.
So, and I am fully expecting that Rick Tocchet, who number one just isn't John Tortorella, but number two is a bit more of a player's coach and seems to be interested in the Flyers not playing quite as fast as Torts was, is not that big of a deal to him as it was to Torts.
Yeah.
So I suspect that Couturier's style, which is a little bit more on the grinded out dump and chase style, especially now, probably is a better fit for what Tocchet will be asking the Flyers to do. The other reason why I'm optimistic about it is honestly the way he finished the season. So Sean Couturier in February, March, and April, the final 29 games of the year, he scored 21 points. Over a full season, that's 59. That's a 59-point pace. Now, you're right about the usage. A lot of that was helped by the fact that Couturier got a lot of time in those latter stages of the year next to Matvei Michkov at 5-on-5. Maybe that won't be the case because maybe it's going to be Zegras Michkov. But I just look at a guy who we're so worried about him being injured. We're so worried about how he's going to age. Well, at the end of the season,
That was very encouraging.
he was playing his best hockey, at least in terms of scoring points. That's encouraging to me. So combine that with the fact that he no longer has a coach who just like thinks he's trash. I'm expecting him to score over 50 points this year.
It's funny, like 59 points, and now this was in the the COVID shortened 2019-20 season. 59 points is what he put up in his Selke year. That was his Selke season. It is the
Now, granted, there were fewer games. Right?
Yes, no, it's 69 games. It was COVID shortened, but it's just funny to look at. Like, oh yeah, 59. That would be the third best season of his career. He put up 76 and 76 in 17-18 and 18-19. He finished second and sixth in Selke voting. And then the year he won, 2019-20, 59 and 69 games. It would just be funny if he matched that total again. And that's if we could get 50 plus points out of Sean Couturier through the early part of his 30s, that would be I can't imagine expecting more out of him. Especially considering where we were with him a couple of years ago with is he going to play? What the hell is he going to be? Is he going to be able to get through full seasons? But I do think the two big things here, finishing strong and no more torts, are the best indications that like maybe we can be a little bit more optimistic than we were a year ago about where Sean Couturier was in his career, health, all that.
And I just think too that, look, I am rooting for Trevor Zegras to go bonkers this year, to reestablish himself as one of the premier young talents in this league. I am hoping for it. I think it is possible. It was certainly a worthwhile bet. But if you put a gun to my head and ask, like, so who do you think is more likely to be Rick Tocchet's preferred center this season? Sean Couturier or Trevor Zegras? Like, I'm picking Sean Couturier. I think that is far more likely that Tocchet is going to zero in on Couturier as his 20-minute-a-night center than Zegras.
Really good chance. I don't think that's crazy to say. You know, just like something as simple as 56% in the dot last year, 56.1. Coaches want to not lose every faceoff. I think the mandate should be, and listen, maybe the mandate is try to win as many games as possible next year. I think the mandate should be Trevor Zegras plays freaking center. That's it.
I agree.
Like that should be.
I totally agree.
Listen, in 2026, 27, maybe we realize even if he's good, he's not a center. Okay. But this year, I think we just need to go. You get the full year at center and we see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Stick with it. But the coach is going to want the center on the ice in the most situations who can win him a faceoff and like will do the little things that coaches want you to do, especially in this new. Yeah, we're not going to be a rush-based offense anymore, at least not nearly as much as we were the final 2 years under Torts,
right,
where that was the only way the Flyers scored was on the rush. Sean Couturier is that kind of player far more than Trevor Zegras. I think the bringing in of Dvorak, like the re-signing of some guy, like I think it just, yeah, we're gonna see what Zegras is, but we have other options at center in case it doesn't work.
And I'm not even saying that it's, you're like, well, maybe he won't stick down the middle. I think there's a world where even if Trevor Zegras does stick down the middle, Sean Couturier is Rick Tocchet's 1C.
I mean,
and Zegras is his 2C.
And especially the way, all right, yeah, Zegras and Michkov are out there. They start games and they're number one power play and all that. But when you look at the time on ice at the end, because we're trying to win this game 3-1, yeah, man, Sean Couturier got 8 minutes in the third period. So he ended up with the most ice time. That makes him the 1C because he played the most.
Right.
Like, I think that's well within the, like, range of possible outcomes, as you would put it. Like, yeah, why wouldn't you? The coach doesn't hate the guy. They made a point, like, to release a video of them calling Sean Couturier and telling him, like, new sheriff in town, let everyone know.
He doesn't hate you.
He doesn't hate you. Like, I think all of that comes to Couturier is just going to have more of a leg up than he did under John Tortorella, and that will result in him probably to start the year being the 1C, I would guess.
I would guess.
Yeah. I would think, like, him and TK are the two highest paid forwards. that makes them line one if they're together. You know, like you're
And-
going to lean on your veterans.
He is the captain.
He's the captain of the team as well. Yeah.
Most coaches do not go into a new team and say, let me pick a fight with the captain. Most coaches say, hey, I'm a new coach. Let me focus on building a good relationship with my captain. But most coaches are not named John Tortorella.
I overall think the John Tortorella experience is going to, I mean, for us, it was great content-wise. I think it will be positive for the team overall to have dealt with John Tortorella, if for no other reason than they can always be like, we got through that.
Yeah.
And like, I think there were positive things. Like guys learned how to, on and off the ice, how to put up with obstacles and do things but it's gotta just be such a relief. Like, you know what? Bad man is gone. And I that's going to loosen up everyone, I think. All right, we have some more of the top 6 forwards to get to, including, of course, Matvei Michkov. But first, let's take our final commercial break. We have a new partner to tell you about. It's our friends now at Dudat Dental. That's right, because your smile says a lot. So let us introduce you to the team that helps you say exactly what you want to say with that smile. You have to meet the Dudat Dental Group. This is the team trusted to care for one of our city's greatest assets, the Philadelphia Eagles. They're now entering their 5th season as the official dentist of the Birds, and Dr. D and his team have proudly served Philadelphia and its fans for over 20 years. We waited for a long time for QB1 to finally crack a smile, and when he did, who was behind it? Our friends at Dudat Dental. They do it all, from robotic implant surgery and Invisalign to veneers, emergencies, and so much more. They're locally owned and operated. Dr. D is a proud graduate of North Penn High School and Temple University School of Dentistry. T for Temple U, baby. Fight, fight, fight for that Jerry and White. His commitment to the health and confidence of our community runs deep, and whether you're an MVP or just a lifelong fan like the rest of us, this is the team you want caring for your smile. So check them out at PhiladelphiaEaglesDentist.com and discover how you can smile like the Birds. While we're here, you know what time it is. 1-800-588-2300
Today.
That's right. Our friends at Empire Today. I have been telling you about them for months now, and you just have to realize there are no other options when it comes to new flooring. You have to go with the experts at Empire Today, because they're with you every step of the way as you're trying to choose and install your new flooring. Empire Today has experts who live and breathe flooring, and they can answer all your questions for you, and they take those precise measurements. They do a ton of the work, so you don't have to. And the best part, they can bring the showroom right to your home, something no big box store can do. You can pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space, in your space. See how it all looks with your furniture, in your house, up against your paint colors, and all of that. And again, they take those precise measurements, answer all your questions. And Empire Today, they'll give you clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing as well. Plus, you can schedule as soon as the next day. Installation the next day, because nobody wants to wait. So schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. And PHLY listeners, listen up, because you can receive a $350 discount when using promo code PHLY. You heard that right, $350 off with discount code PHLY. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/PHLY for full details. All right, let's get to that Mad Russian. We might have to come up with a new nickname because John's gone.
Like, can still keep it Mad Russian.
I guess we can.
It's fine.
I guess we can.
There'll be other nicknames, I'm sure. That we'll come up with. For
the Mish again. You see that he did it on the move. In the whatever the hell's going on in Russia right now.
Yeah, the NHL, KHL All-Star game thing.
Yeah.
Basically, they have the Russians who are in the NHL play against like the Russians who are in the KHL. At least everybody who's in the country in the summer, and Michkov has done it a couple years running, and he did it this year. And after doing an interview with RG Media last week saying, I think I'm done with the Michigans. I'm done with the lacrosse goals. Then like 3 days later, he does a lacrosse goal.
But he did.
Gotta love it.
He's been trying them stationary for a while. And like, I just don't see that working, because goalies, they try to hug that post and they see it coming at this point. he did it on the move, a la Trevor Zegras or Connor Bedard, and it worked. So maybe he's picked up a little
I
bit.
like that he went lower.
Yes.
With where
Everyone
he
always
placed
tries
the
to go
puck.
high.
Everybody tries to go high. And because I remember watching one time when he tried to do the Michigan in a game, an NHL game that I was covering, and it was clear that the book, because the goalie realized what he was doing, and whether he just knew like, oh, Michkov's going behind the net, this is what he might do, or somebody gave him like a signal, like, oh, he's doing it, because he looked and you could see him, the goalie, already like moving his shoulder up and his blocker up to try to like protect that part. Well, you know, if you then change your tune a little bit and you go lower, you know, around like the hip and even the pads, maybe that's going to be more likely to work.
More space to squeak through. And it's funny because it seems like he almost always shoots low, but he tries that high. I don't know. But anyway, Matvei Michkov, what he finished fourth in rookie of the year voting. Did Matvei? Yeah, fourth in Calder voting. He did make the all rookies team. I really, really expect him to break out after he played 80 games, obviously, stayed healthy all year, at least healthy enough. Who knows what happened in that middle section of the year where he had like 7 points in 20 games or something, but he played in 80 out of 82, was benched for 2 of them, but 26 goals, 63 points as a rookie.
Pretty darn good.
Pretty good, led all rookies in goal scoring. And I am just expecting another jump from him because, one, he's just awesome. You watch him play, and I don't think he scored as much as he possibly could have last year. And two, he seems to really have that work ethic and want it. Like, he wants to be considered one of, if not the best players in the league. I don't know if he's ever Nathan McKinnon or Nikita Kucherov or a guy who, like, can legitimately lay claim to that title. But he really, really wants to be, and seems interested in putting in the amount of work it takes to get to that level. So I don't see any reason he suffers a sophomore slump, but I guess it happens. And after such a good year with such high expectations going into next year, I suppose it's possible, but I am expecting, I think, 75 plus out of him.
Yeah, I think I'm going into the year expecting point per game. That's my expectation, that he will take the leap. That said, there are, you know, some not mitigating factors, but some possible ways where that might not play out. He is getting a new coach. I think that him and Rick Tocchet will work well together, but it's an unknown. You never know. Maybe him and Tocchet don't work well together and Tocchet jerks him around the same way that Torts did. I guess that's possible. To me, the real, again, not mitigating factor, but the variable that will decide whether he has a big breakout year, whether he stagnates a bit, whether he has a sophomore slump. And I just don't know. We're not going to know until September when he shows up and we see, you know, what kind of progress he's made. He needs to have a big summer in terms of physical gains, because as someone who covered him on a daily basis, and he even admitted it on a couple occasions, like, he wore down. He did. He wore down at times, and not even just in terms of, like, there were stretches of the season where he looked tired. In games, he would wear down as his shifts got longer. You know, he would have real jump in the first 30 seconds of his shift, and then the final 10 to 15, it wasn't, you know, some people might be like, well, he was cherry picking. Maybe, but he might have been cherry picking more at the end of his shifts because he just didn't have a lot of energy left. And it's like, well, I guess I'll just hang out near the blue line because my legs aren't there anyway. And at least if I get a pass, I have a chance to score. I want him to show up to this camp and look like an NHL fit player, because I don't think it was a lack of work. I just don't think he fully understood what you need, the kind of shape you need to be in to truly excel at the NHL level. I want him to go crazy this summer, and I think he has the work ethic to do it. I think he will have the level of commitment necessary, but we have to see if he does it. Because if he shows up and still isn't in like the greatest of NHL shape, then all that talk about his amazing work ethic, then you're like, well, you know, maybe you shouldn't have been driving around vacation in Dubai for weeks. Like,
I seem to love Dubai.
I think he is going to take major strides physically this summer and show up to camp and blow us all away. But I can't say with certainty that he's going to do that until he does it.
No.
And if he doesn't do it, I think he may just have the same year he did last year.
And listen, 63 points, nothing to sneeze at, but we need, for this thing to work, the Flyers need Matvei Michkov to eventually become a guy who gets Hart votes.
Yeah.
Like that, you don't have to win it every year or whatever. You don't have to be a finalist, but you need to be a serious contender perennially, at least down ballot. Like, oh, he's the thing that makes that thing go and does it at such a level that they're like, it's worth voting for him fourth place.
I mean, I guess you could deal with it if that guy is Porter Martone. Then Michkov can just be a 90-point guy, and that's fine. But like, then that would involve Martone dramatically exceeding expectations.
If they're both 90-point guys, great. Like if that, sure, that's wonderful. But like as of now, and that's like a whole nother thing we're gonna have to talk about, at this time next year, hopefully. Like what is Porter Martone and expectations? Yeah. But like right now, the way they're building this thing for the rebuild to work,
Michkov got to be the guy.
He has to be it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see him take those strides as soon as, a few months from now. That would be really great to see because, man, I just want this team to be good.
I feel really good about Michkov taking a big step forward this year, but for him to do it, he is going to have to be in better shape than he was last year. I really, really hope he has a monster summer. Because I think if he does, there's nothing holding him back. If he works himself like crazy this summer and gets himself into more NHL shape rather than like just good hockey shape, then I think the sky is the limit for him next year.
Yeah, it was one of those, I just think you don't know until you're actually doing it what it takes. Yeah. And now he did it. So he knows.
Exactly.
He knows what he has to do.
Yeah.
He needs to do two things for me. He needs to hit the legs hard so he has, one, just a little bit of a stronger stride, and two, more wind, like legs feed the beast, etc. And he's got such a good shot, placement, everything. Just add a couple miles per hour to that thing. Just you don't need to be John LeClaire ripping it 100 with a wooden stick, but like just a couple more, man, and you'll score 40 goals, no problem. That's it. That's really all I'm looking for out of this guy, and I think he's a superstar with just a few things. All right, let's get to a few more of these guys. Let's hit my guy Owen Tippett.
Your favorite
my
player
favorite
on the team,
Flyer.
Owen Tippett.
Hopefully future Buffalo Sabre, Owen Tippett.
Oh my God.
At this point, I just need him to get back to what he was. Like at this time last year, it was, can he go from 27, 28 to 35? Can he go from 27, 28 to 40? Maybe that evolution is still in him. And again, with an improved power play, with better centers, blah, 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 get him more time in the offensive zone and he'll have more time. But like, he just needs to be a volume shooter who puts in 28, 30 goals for me. And I guess I can live with that. It's a disappointment, but I guess I can live with it at this point because last year, 20 goals and what do you have, under 200 shots on goal? Like, that just isn't enough. I don't care what metrics you're like.
He had 298 the previous season in terms of shots on goal. This past season, 188.
188.
So that is 101 shots on goal fewer than he had the year before. Like, you're a volume shooter, dude. Be a volume shooter. Don't worry about the people online screaming about you, throwing shots off the glass. Just shoot the puck, man. That's what you do. Just do it.
And that's the thing. Like, he didn't see a dramatic dip in shooting percentage. 2 years ago, 11.7. Last year, 9.7. This past season, 10.6. Like, shooting percentage was right in line with what it's always been, at least since he
just shot less often.
He just shot less. And, dude, like, Travis Konecny does other stuff. Yeah, I want him to score 30-plus goals. But 50 assists, penalty kill, all this other stuff, it's important. If Owen Tippett isn't scoring goals, what the hell does he do? He had 23 assists last season. Again, previous 2 years, 25 and 22. So it's not like you made up for it elsewhere. You just scored less. And when Owen Tippett isn't putting the puck in the net, I have trouble understanding what it is he does here. He needs to do this, and he just didn't.
So here's my concern about Tippett for this season. It has less to do with the disappointing season he had this past year, although it was undeniably disappointing from a scoring standpoint. Absolutely was. I just worry more than I think any other forward on the team. I worry about his fit with Tocchet, and not talking about like personality wise. I'm talking about stylistically. if Tocchet is going to have this team playing more of a possession, grind it out, not like 40% controlled entry rate, but maybe a few percentage points down, and he wants the team to have the puck more. So to be a little bit less transition rush focused, I worry that's not a good fit for Owen Tippett because he is at his least dangerous on the cycle. He is a rush guy in terms of where he scored his points. Now, I'm not saying he can't get better. I'm not saying he can't adapt. Maybe he can just be more efficient when he gets his rush opportunities, because just because you're a little bit more of a dump and chase grinded out team doesn't mean you don't get rush opportunities. It just means you get fewer number. Maybe he gets more efficient. Maybe he makes better decisions, takes better shots, and he still gets his goals. But I do worry a little bit that if the Flyers adjust their style to be a bit less rush and transition oriented, that combine that with the fact that Tippett already has the pressure that he has to come back from a down year last year, and now they're not playing a style that really is conducive to what he does best. That concerns me. I still like Owen Tippett. I think if you ask me my expectations for him, I would expect he bounces back to what he was before last year, 25 to 30 goals. But I worry a bit about his fit under Tocchet. I worry a bit about that.
I do worry about that, especially like him being such a rush-oriented player. Like Matvei Michkov is special, and so a coach will go, well, this guy's got 50 goal upside or whatever. He's going to kind of get the freelance a little bit. Tip, you got to kind of play within the constraints of the team here.
You're not a superstar.
That said, like there's no reason he can't be better off the cycle. Just like this isn't, we're not talking about a little guy here. We're not talking about a guy who like is a give and go play. Like I just see him. He can step off the wall and create his own shot. The combination of size, speed, and shooting should work for him. Yes, it works on the rush, and it's worked pretty well, at least in seasons past. Like, there's no reason he can't be a guy Tocchet really likes, other than he has to make an adjustment.
Yeah.
Like that, he needs to make the adjustment, but I just look at him and go, you could do this.
Yeah.
You have all the tools to be able to do this. We've seen you have the puck skill. We've seen you step off the wall and create your own shot. These are all things you're capable of doing. You're not a small guy. You're not a slight guy. He's 6'1", 210. Like, there's no reason he can't make an adjustment and be just an even more effective player, because he's in the offensive zone more, which would, you'd think, create more shooting opportunities for a volume shooter.
And one thing I did like about his play last season, it wasn't all the time, but I did see more of him flashing some passing ability. He had some really nice feeds. He had some really nice plays where he set up teammates for shots, for goals, for chances. You saw a little bit more of that. Now, I don't know if he's ever going to get to the point where he's, yearly getting 35 assists, but I would like to see him be a little bit less predictable and a little bit less. Like, I want him to shoot a lot, don't get me wrong, but I liked that he was showing more creativity with his playmaking too, because I think that'll just make him a tougher player to defend if teams can't just entirely sell out to defend against him shooting because they just know he's just a shooter. I don't know if he can build on that, but I did like that aspect of his play last year. I thought it was his best passing season, even if it was his worst shooting and scoring season since he's been on the field.
I would agree. It wasn't consistent, but I thought we saw, for the first time, flashes of legitimate playmaking ability. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that again, but I did think we saw strides in that area, even if you look at the assist total and go, Like, I did think we at least saw a little bit of that.
It wasn't like the assists he was getting where he shoots, rebound goes to teammate, they put it in. The assists he was getting, a lot of them were legitimately nice assists.
No, I would definitely agree with that. And if the team had finished at a little higher rate overall, perhaps you would see that. And listen, I can also say Matvei Michkov set him up like 10 times on sure goals that he did not bury either, but that kind of speaks to the shooting season he had. All right, before we wrap this up, we're headed to overtime. Go to allphly.com now if you are part of the television audience to finish up the show. I want to do Foerster and Brink together. I don't know where to put Zegras. Like,
We can have a whole show.
He wasn't here.
Well,
Yeah.
Foerster, the big question is the injury.
That's my thing with Foerster
is he
now.
going to play to start the year?
Yeah.
If and when he comes back, how hampered is he by the negative effects it may have had on his offseason? If he did not have the injury, I would go into this year with very high expectations for Tyson Foerster. That I would be expecting him to take a leap. Now I just don't know.
Now the thing he needs to work on is consistency and most notably getting off to a better start than somewhere between 0 and 3 goals in the first 15 to 20 games.
Yeah.
Now, we don't even know if he's going to be available for those games. And it just feels like he is starting the year kind of behind the 8 ball, whether this injury takes away from regular season games he plays or not, because he's going to be coming back from something rather than hitting the ground running. Like we talked about with Joel Farabee, and that was like seemingly a much more serious injury. Like the neck thing, it was like, well, first half he's kind of coming back, and then he works his way in, and now he's finishing the year strong. But like when you don't have that off season, especially young, when you're trying to make that development jump, like it just feels like you start behind. And that kind of feels like what's going to happen this year. And perhaps that creates an opportunity for Porter Martone, for Alex Bump, or maybe even a guy he played a lot with, Bobby Brink. I wonder, we saw Bobby Brink, the evolution of his, like, John Tortorella's perception of him and how he started to lean on him more. And I wonder how that carries over, because you would think like, oh yeah, we're kind of more of a rush-based player. He was one of the guys on that line with Cates and Foerster that was like pretty good on the forecheck.
That was
one of the few teams.
That was the one line that was legitimately good on the
cycle. That was the only line that could like establish possession and get more than one shot off per shift.
Agreed. I really like Bobby Brink. I was mildly annoyed at how many people this summer were like in their heads already mentally trading him, because it was like, well, Maxim Shabanov, so I guess we got to trade Bobby Brink. Like, no, you don't have to do that. Now they don't have Shabanov anyway, so you're stuck with Bobby Brink, you jerks. But anyway, I like Bobby Brink. I liked what I saw from him last year. I thought he was an important cog on their most consistent line, and I want to see what he can do.
Yeah.
Now he's shown that he isn't just an offense guy, that he can do other things, that he can check, that even though he's small, that he can play with some bite. Now I want to see what that offensive ceiling is. Can he go from being a 40-point guy to a 60-point guy?
I think you put it really well. Maybe it was at the end of the season, near the end, whatever it was. We were talking about how he's rounded out his game. And it's like, well, for Bobby Brink to really establish himself in the NHL, he's going to have to score because, listen, you can work really hard and do all the things Brink has done, but eventually it's going to come down to how productive are you? The way he has rounded out his game has bought him the time to make me want to find out if he's ever going to be a 60-plus point player or whatever, because he can do other stuff like, oh, well, there's not really room for him in the top 6. Is he a third line? Can you count on him? Yeah, you can. He can do those things.
Yeah.
And now that buys him the opportunity to see if he can be more. Yeah. And that's really, he's one of the guys I think like after Michkov and Zegras and the guys we're really excited about. I'm like, I want to see what kind of year he has, because it was intriguing. Over 40 points. I think he had 41 points. Like, okay. You know, for how long did we just beg Sean Couturier to break the 40-point barrier? You know, like fair. Now Brink is there. Let's see what else is there, because he did round out his game in such a good way. All right, that is it. We didn't talk about Cates because I honestly don't know where to put him. And again, that could be like, we could have a Noah Cates day, honestly.
We probably will.
And Vince would love it. So maybe we will later this week. Before we get to Super Chats, want to tell you the new merch will be available tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't always know what's going on here. I just say, I don't know, it's not up yet, but I'm going to tell them there's new merch. It'll be up on the site tomorrow. Check it out. I love these Spectrum designs. Charlie has the Sixers. There's a whole bunch of new stuff, fresh designs. Check it out. allphly.com. Click that merch tab. There was some other thing I wanted to say.
You got more? Let's just do the Super Chats and go home, William.
We have the mini pods coming out Thursday at 12 p.m. about rebuild timeline.
Oh, okay.
So check that out. All right, let's hit the Super Chats. From Justin, let's see, Cicchini, I think. I was the one that made the Terry comp to Bump, the Troy Terry comparison to Alex Bump. We talked about that in a mailbag. I know people would love if he was. I was more making it because of college, similar production, etc. Yeah, I mean, because of where they got him in the draft and he was an NCAA player, maybe like a little bit of a late bloomer, I see the comparison.
Right.
And it's if he reaches that level of production, like if he can be a 40-point player, cool, you got something. If he can be beyond that,
yeah, I
like
mean, last
55 to 65.
last 4 seasons for Troy Terry, 67 points, 61 points, 54 points, 55 points. If Alex Bump can be that, then damn.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, everybody involved. All right, from David Shub. What's up, David? Maybe we were too close. Maybe we were too close to the elephant giving Torts grace.
I've never heard that.
Me neither.
Sure, I guess it's a thing.
Watching him bully a bad team felt good, but he wasted Michkov's rookie year and stifled offense. Remember 3 straight shutouts.
Did he waste Michkov's rookie year? The dude scored 63 points.
He led the league. He led rookies in scoring and had 63 points. Like, I don't know if he wasted it. Like, I think maybe
he probably could have scored more if the goal of the season was get Michkov as many points as possible. For a lot of people, a lot of fans, it was.
And listen, absolutely, I do think while it maybe cost him a Calder Trophy, like maybe he could have been a point a game player, been minus 40. And we're all like, yeah, but look at all these goals. He scored 35 goals. You know, like maybe it cost him a rookie of the year, but I do think ultimately it will make he and the team better. Like
I hope
there is, I do think, a short-term selling for a long-term gain. Yeah.
That was clearly the thought process of the Flyers, that Michkov will benefit from the tough love of John Tortorella. It's one of those things where the incentives were just different. Like the incentives of John Tortorella were, I think I can shape Michkov to be better 5, 6, 7 years down the line by being harder on him this year. And the incentives of the fans were, we've never had a Calder Trophy winner, and we know the team isn't going to be very good. Best case scenario is we lose in round 1, so get me a Calder Trophy winner.
Yeah. And I understand that. It would have been fun. I just don't know if we like wasted it. All right, from Corey. I'm calling it now. Michkov and Bedard will meet at least once in the Cup final. Hopefully when it happens, it goes differently than 2010 did.
Well, look, I would love that because that would mean the Flyers made it to another Cup final.
I just want to make the freaking playoffs and worry about that later. I'm looking forward to covering like a second round of the playoffs or something. That would be a lot of fun. But yeah, it would be if these two teams do it again. Like, granted, it wasn't 1-2, but in 2007, it's the 1 and 2 picks, and it probably should have been in that draft. But lucky for us, it wasn't. It would be a lot of fun.
I mean, Carlson and Vettilli are gonna be real.
Yeah, I'll take Mish.
All right.
From Purple Crayon, what's up, Perp? Owen Tippett has housed. What's this say? I can't see it.
It's bad grammar. Owen Tippett he's capable of doing the things. I truly don't know what that sentence means.
He's got skills. All right.
I don't know what that sentence means.
Torts wasn't the right guy to get him to do those things. I'm optimistic Tocchet can be. There could be, I mean, I can't discount what Tortorella took, what he got out of him the first 2 years. Like, yeah, he had a bad final year under Tortorella, but like those first 2 years, he got him to 27 and 28 goals and turned him into the player that ultimately got him the contract he got. So like, I don't know if Torts wasn't the guy for Tippett.
I agree with that. I think people are being colored in terms of the Torts Tippett thing based on how last year went, when they forget that like before he spent seasons under John Tortorella, Owen Tippett was maybe not even an NHL
bouncing back between the A and the NHL. Like, I don't know.
I think Torts was the right guy to make Tippett into a quality NHL player. Is it possible he wasn't the right guy to make a quality NHL player into a high-end NHL player? Maybe, but I think Torts was the right guy for Tippett when he needed him to be.
I can say personality-wise, I get why maybe they didn't get along.
But Torts liked him.
Torts liked him. Yeah, Torts liked him a lot.
Tippett was one of Torts' guys.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's a tough one. But hopefully Tocchet can get him to the next level.
That'd be cool.
Because tools-wise, there's absolutely no reason he's not really, really good.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, from JH, Looking forward to a detailed discussion of the schedule on Wednesday.
I mean,
it's supposed
yeah.
to come out after the show.
Yeah, so it'll be Thursday.
Yeah,
Well,
so
no,
maybe
not Thursday, maybe Friday.
Yeah, Thursday is the Rank Week show. And of course, again, Thursday, the regular show is at 7.
Yes.
And we will have that mini pod airing at noon. And that's based on rebuild timelines, where the Flyers are. Do rebuilds actually work? So you can tune into that at noon, and then we'll have the regular show at 7 p.m. But that will do it for Monday. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the YouTube page and set that reminder bell so you never miss a live show. You'll get notifications. Follow us on all the socials. We're on Twitter. We are on Instagram. We're on Blue Sky. Do we have a Facebook? I don't even know.
Yeah,
probably. I would assume. Check it out. Search. I don't know. And follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. I am Bill Matz. That is Charlie O'Connor. Until tomorrow, be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.